Alright, so this problem is called time conversion, and the question asks for given a time in 12-hour AM PM format converted to military or 24-hour time. So the example that they're given us is S equals 12:01:00 PM, and if we convert it to military time, it would return 12:01:00. And similarly, if we have 12:01:00 AM, it would return 00:01:00. So let's go ahead and break down how to solve the problem. We've been given our two strings. We can go ahead and use string comprehension in order to solve this problem. The way string comprehension works is we essentially call it as an array, but what we can do is we can use a semicolon to show our beginning and end values. So the beginning value is just the index of the value that you want to start your string from, and the end value is going to be the index where you want to end your string from plus 1. So if I wanted to just get, let's say, 12 as part of my substring, what I'd do is I'd say 0s of 0 to 2, since it's index 0 and this is index 1. So I'd stop at 1 before the final index 2. Similarly, we can use negative values to start reading from the end of the array. So in order to read P or A, I would use S equals -2, since M would be -1 and P would be -2. Alright, so now that we have a better understanding of how to parse through the arrays, what we can do is we can start writing our code. So to begin with, we'll go ahead and generate an empty string that we can add our values to. So n equals just an empty string. And we go ahead and check whether it's AM or PM. And we could do that by checking the second to last value. So S of -2, which will check if it's A or P, is equal to A. Since 12 in military time is 0, 0, we can go ahead and check if the first two values are 12. But all the other values are essentially the same. They'll be 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and check that. So S of colon 2 is equal to 12. We just go ahead and append 0, 0 to the end of the empty string. And if it's any other string, we'll just go ahead and append the value. So that value would be n plus equals S, all the values until 2. So that would go ahead and append index 0 and index 1. Now, if it is PM, we can go ahead and have an else statement. And again, we check if it's equal to 12. So S2 is equal to 12. And if it is, it just stays the same, right? Since 12 PM in military time is just 12. We do n plus equals 12. And now for our else statement, we're going to go ahead and append the value plus 12 hours since it's in the PM, right? So we go ahead and do str, since we need to typecast it, turn it to an int, so s up until the second value plus 12. So we essentially have to convert it to an int, add 12 to it, and convert it back to a string in order to append it to our string. And we use that to determine the hours. And now we can just keep the rest of the values the same. So we go ahead and do n plus equals the value starting from 2 all the way to the 8th value, which essentially just gets rid of the AM and PM. So if you go ahead and check over here, this is 0, 1, the colon is 2, the 0 is 3, the 1 is 4, this is 5, 6, 7, and since it stops right before the 8th value, we have it end at 8. Go ahead and end the string there, and then we just return n. And that's our solution. Let's go ahead and code it up. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's create our empty string, n equals an empty string. If S of -2 equals A, then that means we can go ahead and check if it's 12. So if S up to the value 2 is equal to 12, n plus equals 0, 0. So we have our else statement. Make sure it's indented properly. If S of 2 is equal to 12, and then we do n plus equals 12. And we have our else statement, which means that's not equal to 12. So n plus equals str int s until 2 plus equals 12. So plus equals 12. We go ahead and do n plus equals the values from S2 to 8. and then we just return n, right? So let's go ahead and run our code just to make sure it works. So it passes the sample test case. Let's go and submit it, and it passes all the test cases.